I'm going to cover some basics on the piano here to show all the beginners out there how they can jump right in and start to use both hands playing the piano, and they don't have to be playing one note at a time the whole time. There's obviously some good books for beginners, but when you get into a beginner's book, you could be taking lessons for the first 6 weeks or more and never use your left hand. And so if you're an older beginner, like my friend Cody down in Salado, who I'm making this video for, you wanna get your left hand in there and start playing some stuff that you can enjoy pretty quickly. Okay, so what I'm going to be covering is probably covered in other videos on YouTube, maybe even better than I'm going to be able to do it, but I'm just going to give, again, the basics to get started playing with both hands. And the first thing you need to know is about the scale that you're playing on. We're going to start with the C scale, playing in the key of C, and always, whatever key you're in, the letter name is the number 1. So in the key of C note is going to be the first note. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Only the white keys, no black keys. And the first rule you need to know is that in any key there's always 3 primary chords. That if you take a melody, if you're just playing Jesus Loves Me, you want to add something to it, you're going to be able to take 3 primary chords and play them in just about any song. And I'll give you an example of that right here. You can't see my right hand, but what I want you to focus on is my left hand, because what I'm doing in this video is I'm presuming that you're going to be able to figure out simple melodies on your own with your right hand. I want you to know how to add the left hand to it and give the song a full sound. And so this is the basics of that. So watch, you can see my left hand, and I'm going to start with a simple C chord. And in the key of C, it's so easy to learn. You put your pinky on C, you skip a note, that's E, and you skip another note, and that's G, and you play those 3 notes together. And so here we go. And to make another chord, we're going to do the same thing, except we're going to stick our pinky on the F. That's a 4 chord. Back to the 1. And so that's not really anything amazing, but what's amazing about it is it can be used in any song. If you're playing any song in the key of C, C, F, and G, the 1, 4, and the 5 are usually going to be there. And you'll want to learn other chords eventually. You'll need to. But if you practice these chords, just practice these chords and don't play them all solid. That's a solid chord. And these are all basic triad chords that we're doing. But you can break your triad up. You need to practice that until it becomes as natural as breathing. Now, I don't want to give you that information and nothing to work on it with, or nothing to do with it. That information probably sounds really simple, and you're probably wondering if it's going to help you any or not. But it helps if you have a song that's a little bit fun to play to begin with, and that'll help you just practice and practice and practice those 3-finger chords, 3-note chord triads. And the song I recommend is Pachelbel Canon in C. Usually it's in D, but for beginners we put it in C. It was one of the first songs I learned. My sister taught it to me, and I was playing triad chords. I've been playing them ever since. And so you play just like I taught you. You break them up, except you're going to hit 4 beats. This is classic 4/4 timing on the Pachelbel's Canon. You're going to hit the middle note again. So if you're playing a C chord, you're going to hit the E again. And then you're going to go down to G. And then you're going to come up to A. And I know that's not one of the primary chords that we discussed, but we're going to add a little few in here, and it's going to be good for us. It's going to make it a little more interesting while we're learning this simple stuff. So this is actually an A minor chord, and we'll talk about minors and augmented and stuff later. Pachelbel Canon in C, you want to play what I just played, those chords. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you want to play that over and over again until when you go to bed at night, the sheep are jumping over the fences in that rhythm. And I'm going to teach you how to add the melody, the right hand to it. And I know we're not focusing on right hand, but I'm going to give you the right hand because this song, it'll be fun to learn and it'll help you out, like I said. So, I'm going to put your middle finger on E in the right hand, and then F, G. E, F, G, F, E, F, and then you go up to D, C, E, D, and then you're back to the start of the chord sequence once again. So you can rewind that video over and over again if you want to learn that song. And that, like I said, that song, it's very helpful, and it's a little less monotonous. I mentioned this earlier today to someone. Roger Bennett, first song he ever learned, a famous piano player for the Cathedrals, first song he ever learned was Heart and Soul, which is chords and rhythm over and over again that'll drive you crazy. You can practice on that. You're just doing the 3-finger chord down, C, G, A, E, F, C. It's almost the same, you know. But Pachelbel Canon is a little less monotonous and it'll drive your family. It won't drive your family crazy as much. So, and Pachelbel Canon, like I said, you practice that over and over and over and over again, and you'll, if you stick with it, you'll get good at adding melody. You can add different melodies to it and keep that chord sequence going like this. It's been so long since I played it in C. Excuse me. Change camera angles. I want you to get a good look at what I'm doing with these chord sequences because it's different than what I showed earlier. We're going C, and as I said, add the A minor, and then we're going to go down to E. We also didn't talk about that, but we're going to do E, and then back up to F, and then down to C, so we're a whole octave below where we started. And then back up to F, G, and then do the whole thing over again. So all I was doing in that song was, in the left hand, was playing that same chord sequence over and over and over again. Any melody that you're just adding a different melody to it each time you go over it, excuse me. And you know, that's why there are so many versions of that Pachelbel song, because the most memorable part of the song is that part where those chords are going on. And so practice it a lot. I know that's simple, but when you're beginning, everything's going to be simple. Your melody is going to be simple. That's why I didn't get too much into that. If you're just starting out with little melodies like Jesus loves me, this I know, that's fine. Just start adding those chords to it. Start practicing your chords, and I'm going to tell you, once you start practicing those chords, it opens up a lot it opens up a world of knowledge for you to learn. You may not realize it for a while, but so many great piano players they're still using this stuff about the primary chords. There's not a day in their life when they don't use it. And so you got to begin by learning the primary chords, and once you begin to learn them and you learn about the scales, you'll start to be able to do things like change keys and add 6 chords to it instead of just playing the 1, 4, and 5 and stuff. And all that stuff will start to be exciting, because you'll see your music begin to have more flavor and take a different shape. And you'll recognize structure and patterns in music once you start to learn this stuff by the numbers. And so I hope it's going to be helpful for you. You just have to practice a lot at first. You have to practice with the chords until it becomes really natural. And so I want to say one more thing. If you're really serious about playing the piano, you're going to need to get into the book and learn to read music and learn theory and learn all the facts about music. This is to help you get started, because you want to find some enjoyment playing the piano. You don't want to be playing Mary Had a Little Lamb all the time. You're going to have to do some of that, but this is hopefully to help you find some joy in adding 2 hands to it and having some fun.